So we continue. We're starting today new chapter, number 6. And topic extracting liquids, Sechitah. One of the 29 Avos Melachos is dash, threshing, a process by which wheat kernel was extracted from the surrounding chaff. A talada, a subcategory of this Melachah, is Sechitah, squeezing out the liquid from the item in which it is absorbed. The Melachah of threshing and Sechitah are forbidden on Yom Tov, just as they're forbidden on Shabbos, with some minor differences. Okay, so before we continue, let's try to understand. So, in the Mishkan, so all these 29 Melachas, they connected to Mishkan, right? To this tabernacle, temporary base, the temporary temple that we had in the desert, and then after we went to Eretz Israel, also for many years we had this temple, right? So one of the jobs was done is to prepare dyes, right? To dye the skins, to dye the wool for paroches, for clothing, right? So it's very interesting. So in order to extract the dye, you have to squeeze take the seed out of the chaff. And same with the bread. They also need bread, right? I'm not sure. It's a very interesting question. Bread, these 12 breads was real bread or from manna? I think it was real bread. Okay. So anyway, in order to make bread, so you have to thresh it. Again, same idea. So you take something from inside of something else. So and you're interested in what is inside. So subcategory talada. So if you imagine, like Shabbos is like I don't know, like a tree, right? A tree have very thick branches. So these branches is 29 branches, Melachah, and from this branch on the tree they have many other branches. So these subcategories are called taladas. So taladas, it's like similar idea. I mean, of course, they express very differently, but similar idea. So when you squeeze something from liquid, from something that was absorbed in, so it's this talada of threshing. Okay, subcategory of threshing. And that is why also applied not only to food but to other things, right? Of course, the famous example is the sponge, right? Why we're not allowed to wash the dishes. Let's say you have warm water from before Shabbos, let's say, or you want to wash the dishes with a cold water. There is no problem, right? And if of course if you're allowed to wash the dishes, as we spoke before. So you would not be allowed to wash with a sponge because it's only a matter of time when you're going to squeeze, or some rag or some like paper towel. For sure you're going to squeeze. So that's forbidden. Okay. Continue. Of course, in like squeezing lemon or something. Okay. I mean, we're going to see. In some cases, it is allowed, like lemon. Number 1, the prohibition of Sechitah. Under the Melachah of Sechitah, it is forbidden to press fruit or vegetable in order to extract the juices. It is also prohibited to squeeze out liquid that has been absorbed in any food item, like a wine absorbed in a challah. So there is I don't know, it was common among some people. They like to dip challah into their glass and eat like a glass of wine and eat like that. I don't know. I never done it. For me, it does not look very, I don't know, appetizing. Like especially with a guest and it drips like all over. Some people are talking around the table and he's speaking and looking in one direction, and this piece of challah with wine dripping. I don't know, it's a little beyond me, but that's what people do. I mean, when you put this piece into your mouth, there is no problem. So you eat like that. So it's not squeezing, right? But squeeze like extra wine from this piece of challah would be a problem. Continue. Or some people dip cake or some cookies in there. No, cookies, that's not a good example. Cake, right? Some sponge cake or something into coffee. So that would be also a good example. So you're not allowed to squeeze. Okay. A. Squeezing fruit and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are divided into 3 categories with regard to Sechitah. So mostly, okay, no, not everybody would dip the challah into the wine, but many people would squeeze the vegetables, right? If you want to make your own vegetable juice, fruit juice. Right? So 3 categories, and one is olive and grapes. So why is olive and grapes? Let me see if. Oh, okay, he's going to explain. Forget it. Okay, so he's going. Number 2, other fruits, vegetables commonly juiced. So olive and grapes are a separate category. It's actually biblical because they're considered to be fruits. Fruit is, meaning wine is a fruit, right? And olive oil is a fruit. All other juices not considered to be fruit. They considered to be sweat of the fruit, not the fruit itself. Okay. So category number 2, other fruits and vegetables commonly juiced. I guess apples, right? What is it? Oranges, other things. Okay. Number 3, fruits and vegetables that are not commonly juiced. So banana. Usually people, I don't know, maybe they do, but I don't think you can squeeze too much juice from banana or some other things, right? Okay, category number 1, explanation, the olives and grapes. Under the biblical law, the prohibition of Sechitah with regard to the foods applies only to olive and grapes. So olive and grapes, you have to be very, very careful. So if you eat like pickled olive or something, right? These 2 fruits are distinctive in that the primary use in their juice form, there is olive and wine. So in fruits and vegetables, right, and it is a primary form and primary way of eating and secondary way, right? So and here is a good example. Most of the olives are grown for olive oil, not for eating. Majority, right? And same with grapes. Of course, yeah, you sell grapes, but it's not so easy to preserve them, and wine is much more expensive, of course, than the grapes. Okay, and easier to preserve. Okay, so most of the grapes are grown actually for wine, not for the grapes as a fruit. That's why. So according to biblical law, so this olive oil and wine considered to be fruits. Fruit in double quotes, meaning the most important part. Therefore, the juices have a special significance, not to share by other juices, which render the prohibition of the juices subject to the biblical prohibition of Sechitah. So from grape. So don't play with a piece of grape and squeeze the juice. Don't do it on Shabbos or Yom Tov. That would be like practical example for us. Okay. Number 2, other fruits and vegetables commonly juiced. There are other fruits and vegetables whose juice are not their primary form of use, but which are nevertheless commonly squeezed to produce juice. For example, such a food are oranges, apples, grapefruits, pineapples, and tomatoes. So of course, most of the people would eat oranges as they are, but still, it's very common to drink the orange juice as well. Apples as well, grapefruits, okay, pineapples, and so etc. Tomatoes. So it's not primary form, but the secondary. So it's second category. The fruits and vegetables that commonly juiced. Commonly. Continue. These foods are the subject of the prohibition of Sechitah by rabbinical decree. Rabbinic decree. Number 3, the fruits and vegetables that are not usually juiced. Fruits and vegetables not usually juiced. Okay. Fruits and vegetables that are not commonly made into the juices are exempt from the prohibition of Sechitah, even on rabbinic level. This may be pressed on Shabbos and Yom Tov, even with a specific intent or extracted juices. This category excludes melons and similar foods whose juices are not commonly used. Okay. Includes. I'm sorry, I said exclude. Okay. So one more time. Fruits and vegetables that are not commonly made into juice, exempt from this prohibition. Meaning that you can squeeze, or if it's like squeezed by itself, so you can drink this juice. So we see that others, there is a second category. If you squeeze or squeeze by itself, so you would not be able to drink this juice until after Shabbos. So we'll see. Okay, so Sechitah. One second. The whole sentence: fruits and vegetables that are not commonly made into juice are exempt from the prohibition of Sechitah, even on a rabbinic level. So meaning that you're allowed to squeeze. How much you're going to squeeze from this? Not much. Right? This may be pressed on Shabbos, on Yom Tov. Even the specific intent to extract juices. So that's also very important point. So when somebody asked the question, I don't remember last week or 2 weeks ago, what's the difference if the action is made anyway? So we said that it's a huge difference. If in order to get the death penalty, if somebody did this Melachah on a biblical level, so he had to have intention that that's what he wants to do. So if somebody did it unwittingly, it's not a person is not going to get death penalty or punishment. Okay. So here in third category, we say that even a person had intention, there is no problem, he can do it. Squeeze from the third category. This category includes melons. So I mean, of course, there is some juice from melons, but very negligible. And similar foods whose juices are not commonly used. Commentary. Whether or not the particular fruit or vegetable is classed as one that is not commonly used, so in double quotes, depends on the contemporary practices of the people. Any fruit or the vegetable that become vogue to juice falls under the restriction of Sechitah. So now they decided to squeeze melons, okay, right? Watermelons, melons. So now it's going to go from a category of number 3 to category number 2. So okay, so it's when it's one of the situations when we have to take into consideration the local practice and what people do today. B, extracting liquids absorbed in food. So now it's only absorbed, meaning it was foreign liquid, right, and absorbed into the food. And what to do? Foods that had absorbed foreign liquids. So here we go. For example, challah dipped in wine, also subject to Sechitah. Right, so what category? Of course, not first category. I would say maybe second category. Right, so we have to be very careful. Okay.